It's loaded. Okay, now we live.
We live, baby. I'm with that. I like that. I'm a live type of person. That works.
Hey, all right. So we are live. It is episode 5 of the Legacy Lounge. Today we are talking about the personality of money. Last time we were talking about finance and relationships. What did you say, Fancy? Your relation?
No,
I
I
forgot
said
what you said.
the normal thing is that there is no romance without finance.
That's
Ain't no
what you said.
relationship.
That's what you said. There ain't no romance without finance. We were talking about feelings and finance. We were talking about money and emotions. And now we're gonna be talking about um, the personality of money. Because as you know, money has personality, and depending on how much money you have, the personality of your funds may be a little different. When you got a lot of money, your money may be a little bit outgoing, as we were talking about earlier. And then when you have a little bit of money, what were you saying, Fancy?
I said your money's shy.
Your
You know what I'm
money
saying?
is
Well,
shy. Your
it's kind
money
of
is
laid back in the cut. But even like what you're saying about when you got a lot of money, it might be boastful. But there's a popular adage that says the loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room. So when we talk about old money, right?
shy.
It's a little more quiet, right? You have
Hmm.
to recognize, you got to keep your eyes open for it because it's not so boastful. Or when you talk about um, quality, you talk about things happening just like a tree. When a tree grows, you don't hear it, right? So when things are on Front Street, when they're loud, when they're boastful, we say that's the weakest one.
Mm.
We say the real killers move in silence. That's what we say. And so I think the same holds true with money. Like I said, sometimes you can see people driving their riches, they rocking their riches, they wearing it, and then all too many other times you see where it's not readily identifiable. Right? There's way more than what meets the eye. It's not on Front Street, and a lot of people who have an abundance or real wealth, they ain't advertising. They don't want you to know.
Mm. Mm. You said a lot just now. You said a lot. So what I'm gathering is, man, it goes back to how my mind thinks when you were saying the real confidence is quiet. That whole real G's moving silent. So
That's what
real
Wayne told us.
G's
Didn't
being a
didn't
grand.
hey, that was Wayne told us.
Hey, look,
Like lasagna.
hey, that's actually one of my favorite dishes, by the way, too. So if anybody watching want to send Tino some
Look at
lasagna, a
you.
plate,
You better be careful feeding
and
people pasta, sir. That's another show. I'm with you.
okay. But anyway, yeah. So I'm thinking back to times where, again, just like how you said, that confidence is quiet and insecurity is real loud. I remember times back in my youth, let's use that, when I came into a good bit of money that I wasn't expecting. And so I was balling out of control.
Mhm.
The person who was in the club buying the bottles, buying the shots for everybody. Uh, now is that just more insecurity? Was that the personality of my money? Was it just very insecure? So it was loud and boastful, or what there? Because man, again,
More,
as I say, if I had that YOLO money back, that YOLO money gonna have to quiet down though.
I referenced previously how some people want a large amount of money to be seen, and others want that money to disappear, right? And paid in full, money making Mitch said, but what the streets still love me. You know what I'm saying is they gonna love me if I ain't out here performing. Remember they had
Mm,
their whole little strip that they would go to. It was the stage, and everybody
mm,
showed up, dripped out, had their cars, had their outfits on. You know what I mean? So they had that loud money, and without that money, he felt insecure. And so a
yeah,
lot of people attach their personality to what they have as opposed to who they are.
they attach their money to what they have as opposed to who they are. Wow. So really, then what you're saying is that the personality of the money really comes from your personality and what you
Absolutely.
don't.
I believe money is an amplifier. I think if you're not a good person without money, you are probably not going to be a good person with it. I think money is just an amplifier. But I also believe, right, that well, I still think it's a core characteristic for myself. I think I told you a lot of times I thought I was depressed. I was just broke. I wasn't
Yeah.
depressed. I just needed a check. You know what I mean? And now suddenly, you know what I'm saying? I'm like Billy Ocean. Life got new meaning to me. You know, it's beauty up above, things I never even spend money on. You know what I'm saying? My whole mentality and outlook on life is different. And so with that thought process, I'm not now just surviving, but I'm looking to strive. I'm a cheerful giver, right? You
Mhm.
can't give from what you don't have. So, you know, there's a lot of psychology and psychosis that plays into money based on how you were raised, based on your sense of self, your own self-worth. All of these things are imperative.
Mm. So with that being said, then how what personality do we need to have, or the psychology of money? What kind of psychology, mind files, how we process it, do we need to have in order to have more of it?
Discipline.
Ooh.
Discipline is going to come in many forms, but it only works two ways. You experience discipline either of, or they say regret, right? It's either
Hmm.
of discipline or not doing it, right?
Hmm.
So with discipline with money, it's either the structure of doing what you need to do to get it, the saving for the accumulation of it, right?
Hmm.
And just recognizing that you need to position your money to work for you. We can't keep working for money. We ain't got enough time to trade for money. So we have to be very savvy to position our money where now it can work for us.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So discipline. So really, like, how do it? Let me ask: do you feel like I just me personally? I feel like I even could be more disciplined with my money, and my money can have more discipline. So, I mean, there's always they say the biggest room is always the room for improvement. So that's why
Mm,
we're having this conversation.
absolutely. Absolutely. I think conversations like this are pivotal in people even recognizing, knowing that they have options or realizing. It's like a person who may have an addiction to something, but until they recognize, identify, and accept that they have an addiction, nothing's going to occur.
Hmm. Mm. So let's break that down. Let's unpack that for a second. What would be the first thing to really look at to get on this journey of realizing, accepting it, and then starting the healing process, or the wealth journey? Let's use that.
Just look at where you are and is it where you want to be? And if it's not, you've got the ability to make adjustments accordingly, right? If you got attitude every time it's time to punch somebody clock, every time it's time to go to work, every time it's time to pay a bill, right?
Hmm.
Pac said feel good paying rent when the rent due because he had it, right? It was a dynamic difference, right? And it
Hmm.
affects in the world we live in your psychosis, your mentality, right? It's just so many things. Money is the center of it all, and it may or may not be that way in all instances, but a lot of instances we see that that holds to be true.
Okay. So
Listen,
what you just said, would your money have a different personality depending on where it came from? Because now you're talking about working a job. Some people work harder than others. And if it's like, oh, I work really hard for this money, it may have a different personality than money that came easy. You
not if you
know,
don't recognize it. People will work 30 minutes to eat a cheeseburger, to eat a value meal.
hey, no, nah, you can't just say that. Break that down. People
I
work
mean,
30
how much is
minutes.
a value meal? I try to stay out of people drive-throughs and in fast food places, but I don't like fake food. If how
Mhm.
much is a value meal? Maybe what, $10?
Okay, yeah, let's go with that.
We'll say $10, and then minimum wage is minimum wage $10, or say a person is not. Say they making $20 an
Hmm.
hour.
Hmm. Mm,
You work 30 minutes
mm,
for a value meal,
mm. You
right?
know,
So I don't
that,
think it matters where the money comes from. It's truly a mentality, right?
yeah. So that reminds me of a client. She told me that she likes making the salmon cakes. And she said that there was one that was in a white label, the can that has a white label, and then the can that has like a pink or a red label.
Mm-hmm.
And she said the one that was in the pink or the red label, it went up to about like $6 or $7, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she was only making about $8 or $9 an hour at the time. So she was like, this is about an hour of my time for the salmon cakes.
That I'm gonna eat in 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Mm.
So that's what I'm saying. When you put things in the proper perspective in that way, then maybe the ideology is like, oh yeah, we do get McDonald's at home. You know what I'm saying? Oh no, I don't got McDonald's money. I understand now. You can't make it make sense. Where we know that if we took that same $10 and placed it right somewhere else where it's going to work for us, you know what I'm saying? It makes a difference. But do you have that discipline to do that?
Mm.
Do
Yeah.
you have the mind frame to recognize and truly break things like that down? Now you got to become the dad off of Everybody Hates Chris. You know what I mean?
Hey. Hey.
He was on to something. Look, that man
Look,
knew.
look, since you already brought up the whole McDonald's thing, I'm telling you, McDonald's has changed my life. One, because I like their business model with their real estate and their franchising and all of that. But the second thing is that when they raised their prices off of this dollar menu and went to like a value, whatever. I just know that the thing ain't $1 anymore. It's like $4 or $5. When I went there and realized that I spent more than $12.50. And again, this is going to be me talking directly to the parents out there, especially with young children. $12.50 a week will turn your child into a millionaire.
Mm,
So if you're spending
mm.
more than that, just know you just spent $1 million for your child.
That's major. For you to say that and paint that picture like that, that is major. And my concern is that that is something that people do not know, right? To
Mm-hmm.
change the trajectory of your child's entire future, of your family lineage, with a value meal. People
Yeah.
would do that if they were aware. And the ones who are do.
Yes. 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 So, what I would say, going back to the personality of it, would you have a different personality or have a different feeling eating the $12.50 hamburger at McDonald's, or when it becomes a million, you could eat steak and lobster or whatnot?
Yeah, you gonna wipe that McDonald's taste right out your mouth. Indeed. Right? Now now your fast food is Eddie V's and Ruth Chris, right? Something different. You have Mitchell's. You know what I mean? Like it's just a totally different thing if you can indeed adapt that discipline.
Man, wow, wow. To think of Ruth Chris as you think about McDonald's, like that mindset shift is,
I
man.
remember I went to there's a chain here in Michigan called J. Alexander's. And I went, it was a weekday when I'm there. I can't recall who I'm with. Message. So I'm there and I'm thinking I'm doing something, right? We having a good time. And the table behind us, it was a larger booth, right? And there was a couple, husband and wife, I would assume, and they had small children. There was probably nobody over 7,
Mm-hmm.
and the kids were being children, very carefree, and the parents were unbothered by it. You know what I mean? Like, but this was supposed to be, a night out for me or a big deal or a special occasion. For them, it was Tuesday.
Okay.
It was Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like that. It wasn't It was nothing like that. Everybody was in regular clothes. I thought I was kind of cute. At least I tried to be, but they were extra regular, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can just see the difference. They was at McDonald's. I was out to eat.
Yeah, you was out. You was no pun intended. You was out there trying to be fancy.
I thought I was. So I thought she thought she was being fancy. You know what I'm saying? These people was like, it's Tuesday. Did you want chicken fingers, honey? I was like, yeah. So it's like, you know, exposure and being able to see things like that, you know, it's a big deal. You know what I mean? And so having that discipline, if you're not gifted that money, you know what I mean? Or someone hasn't taken the time to put it up for you to ensure that when you're that age, you have those things in position. And it's too simple not to.
Yeah.
It's too simple not to.
Yeah.
People at the hookah lounge.
It's as easy as going through the drive-through.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that's what your money gonna do. Drive through and pass you by. That's it. It's just as simple.
Man, I'm gonna let that sit for a second. Let
that marinate, let that cook.
It's like you can have drive-through money, or your money could drive through. Like, which one is it?
Man. Everybody got choices. That's what E40 said. I don't know why I keep referencing rappers this morning and paid in full, and it's interesting.
Hey, look, because people want to ball. Like again, with rappers, I mean, they paint a dream and a lifestyle that people want to live. So,
and then send their kids to private school. So, you be a fool if you want to. You think art imitates life or life imitates art?
That is a great question. It is in a cycle, you know.
I agree.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think you could.
It's like one of those things. It's like the chicken or the egg, but you know, it all comes full circle, especially with art and life. But because you said that, especially, you know, when you're talking about like the laws of success and things like Think and Grow Rich, it's always like this stuff starts in the mind, right? So that has to have some level of creativity. So when you put that out there, it's art, you know, it's art. But then as you grow into it, then it becomes your life. And then now you're just like, hey, like even I watched this Mike Tyson video the other day where he said, you got to be a champion up here before you're a champion in real life.
Major.
Yeah. So it's like, you got to have vision. Yeah. Oh, so then my next question is, what do you really have a vision for your money?
No.
Is it just like, man, this is just everyday regular, got to pay bills? Or it's like, nah, each of these dollars has a purpose, a vision, a mission, and a goal?
That takes such a discipline depending on where you are, how you get your money, and the amount that you get. Because nobody just wants to pay bills and die. And if you're stressing yourself, like you feel like you need a reward, right? You feel like some people's concept of pay yourself first might look different from someone else's, right? Some people tithe first. Some people may or may not put their money away for them first, right? But if one mishap occurs, right, things are so tight for people. I think that was right. Whatever you just did, it changed on the screen. But things are so tight for people, right? One mishap puts them in a position where they got to double up, or they can't pay the full bill. They paying on it. You know what I mean? And so where do I find room to save? I'm trying to save my bottom from being out the street. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's why it's so imperative if you can find that extra breathing room. And I hope, you know, no one is that destitute in their lives, but things happen, things occur, there's peaks and valleys. But if you can find a way to carve out, no matter how big or how small. I read something, or I heard about something, maybe I saw a video about an elderly African-American man. I believe he retired from McDonald's, never owned it or anything, but he sent all his children to college. Discipline.
Yeah, there's a story in the book The Psychology of Money, where they talked about a wealth advisor, a financial advisor who had a bunch of money and then lost it all in the stock market crash. And then there was a guy who was like a janitor who just saved his money over time and just been disciplined, and he left with like over $8 million. So we had a comment on Instagram from Invest in You First. Love the name. He said, growth mindset, attack your self-development every day like it's day one.
That's major.
Yeah.
Like it's day one.
Ooh.
Daily, like a shower.
Yes.
It's got to be routine. I love that. If people have that, yeah, it's got to be a routine.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, you can't shower once a week and thinking you still gonna be smelling fresh.
I highly advise against that.
I highly advise against that, and not just with water. Let's throw some soap in there.
Speaking of elbow grease, I'm saying, old folks say,
yeah, you know, you need those enhancements. It can't just be regular water,
right?
You know, you gotta get fresh and clean. You know, so
here's my guy. Okay, what's the easiest way to form a living trust? So I'll say all trusts are not created equal. So it depends on the goal and objective. And so for me as a professional in my field, anytime before I give anybody any sort of assessment, professional opinion or anything, I need to know your end goal. We can't go into the doctor and be like, Doc, I'm going to need them Xannies. I'm going to need that perk. No, there has to be an assessment that goes on. So my question would be, what did you need your trust to do? I think a trust is a very savvy and strategic thing to have in place right now, especially a person in your case, or anyone who's in the business world, because the name of the game, of course, is to control everything and own nothing. That way they can't take it from you. So it's very strategic. And so depending on what your objective is, but my personal favorite is an irrevocable trust for purposes for tax benefits, for sheltering against loss, for insulating assets, and for allocating things once you're gone, but also being able to take advantage of things while you're living. True wealth is created by investment, not by savings. The key is to own as little as possible. We're singing the same song. That's my guy, but get residuals from everywhere. Absolutely. And so one of the things, yeah, exactly. And so one of the other things is that with a lot of the strategies that we utilize in investment vehicles that we use, it allows you to never deplete the principal, but you always access the interest, right? So your money keep making money. And that's, I don't know if you were here, but that's what we're talking about is us no longer working for money, but making sure our bread work for us. We can't continue to exchange time for money. We ain't got enough time, right? We got babies, we got things we want to do. So you have to put your money to work. But definitely get with me. I'm gonna tell you about the irrevocable trust and the benefits.
Yeah, that is truly amazing because you know sometimes you have certain financial influencers who really put an emphasis on saving, and it's like, yeah, you know, not taking any credit away from saving, but you also once you have more than your emergency money saved, money that you need to live on just in case a disaster happens, what next? You can't just keep saving and saving and saving into infinity. You want to put those dollars to work. You want those dollars to go out and get more dollars. You want your money to multiply.
You got to put them on the stroll. Make them.
Yeah. So I know we talked about the 3 steps when it comes to creating wealth is making money. Okay, you know how to make money. If you're saving, step 2 is keeping money. Okay, you know how to keep money. But the 3rd step is how do you multiply that money?
How you grow it.
Yeah, how do you grow it? Because what you want to do...
Anything that's not growing is dying. I'm sorry, I just had to put that in.
That is true.
Anything that's not growing, whether it be a relationship, a living being, your bread, if it's not growing, it's dying. Because inflation, especially in case of money, it's going to wipe it out.
Yeah, because you can't just keep continuing to save just to save. You want to save to invest so that your money is growing so much. You have so much coming in. You have so much revenue that it's impossible to spend it all.
That's right.
It's impossible because you just, one, you got to live below your means, but two, you just have so much coming in that saving is not even an issue anymore. Like it's
I
just
don't agree. I
overflowing.
don't agree. No one wants to live below their means. So we live in a microminute society, right? No matter
Mhm.
what it is, you can get it quick, right? Whether it's food, whether it's there's a few things you can get extremely quick.
Mhm.
So I don't believe necessarily in living below your means. I believe like go get it. Like you have to put your money to work, whether it's in a passive income, residual form, getting taking advantage of compound interest, right? That's the ideology of putting your money to work because I don't think people have the propensity, the discipline, or the desire to live below their means, right?
Well, what I would say to that is like your means is everybody's at a different level. So what I'm saying is just don't overstretch and over leverage yourself. If you got $1 million coming in, don't live a $2 million lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, again, what a post that I have in my Wealth Warriors group, which was saying that you're probably not broke. You probably just living a life you can't afford. So living below your means doesn't mean like I have to be so frugal or so minimal that I'm eating beans and rice every day, but it's simply like I'm not going to just overspend.
That I agree. I'm all about strategies as a financial strategist. So you could do that. Some people have a higher risk tolerance than others, but the only way you're going to be effectively able to do that is if you're leveraging other people's money. People don't readily
Okay.
identify that utilizing the same reason people care about personal credit and business credit, right, is to have OPM, other people money. People are just now waking up to the fact that that's exactly what a cash value life insurance policy that's gaining uninterrupted compound interest is using other people's money. It's liquid. You can reach out and touch it, unlike your 401k, with no ramifications, with no implication of paying taxes or fees about your bread when you want it. And I'll go back to say it's a situation where how many bills do we have where we could pay one bill and it covers a multitude of things. It's going to cover you if you're critically sick, if you're ill, if you want to start a business, if you want to, you know what I mean? And so you have to leverage other people's money. People don't identify that the life insurance companies are one of the major financial institutions. Your bank, go to my life insurance company. That's where they invest their money. They
Yeah.
get the 8 to 12% compound interest, and then they give you 0.023. So that leverage and that strategy is going to be key.
Yeah. It's the same how anybody anywhere pretty much makes money. They buy low and they sell high. When you go to the grocery
Okay.
store, they
Yep.
bought that can of beans for less than they're selling it to you for.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to money, especially with the banks and the life insurance and all of that, they're pretty much just buying money. So they bought some money, they made some money off of the money, and they gave you a little chump change off of it, pretty much.
You can buy your own bread. It's like when
Yeah,
you go to the
you
grocery
could
store,
literally buy
you
your
buy your
own
own
money.
money.
How much money you want to buy?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
You
But the
sent me a
thing about
chart.
that is you got to think about the future because you're not buying it. You got to give it time to grow. It's not like you're gonna buy this money and just have it today.
So speak to the chart that you sent me the other day, the bell chart. Is that
Oh,
relevant here? Can you see
okay,
how that's relevant here?
okay,
Because it's always greater later, whether it's the fee or the reward. So the things that we're talking about implementing, you want to do it early. You want to do it for your children. And the reason you do it for early and for the children is because time is on your side. That money has a longer time to grow. Now you don't have to be so aggressive with the initial investment because you're able to take advantage of the compound interest in accordance with the time frame that it has to grow.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you broke it down beautifully. Like
You
that's it.
cheating. You cheating. You could have elaborated on that. You cheating.
I mean, okay, if you want me to elaborate on that, again, you're buying money. You put in $1. With time, it shoots out $5.
Mm-hmm.
So, how many times are you going to put $1 into this machine? That's what it breaks down to. And they always say you want to invest early and invest often because
Mm-hmm.
compound interest.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's break that down for a little bit. Compound interest is interest on top of interest on top of interest on top of interest. A lot of people, when we talk about interest, we think in terms of simple interest, where it's just interest just on the money that you made. So going back to this example of putting $1 in and getting $5 out, now that you got your $5 out, how much money are you putting back into that machine? Are you still putting $1?
No.
You're going to put in the 5.
That's it. Press my bet. I feel like I'm at the table. Press my bet, right? I'm winning. I'm up. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah. So if you know that this machine is going to give you 5 times your money, you put $1 in the first time, it shot back out 5. Now you put 5 in, it's going to shoot out 25.
That's dope sauce. That's the formula right there.
So why would you continue to just put in $1?
You wouldn't.
Yeah, because then you put in the 25, it's going to shoot back out 125. And just keep going. That's compound interest at work. That's your money buying money.
That's the part. That's the part right there. Money does grow. You just got to know where to place it. You got to learn. You got to put it to work for you. You can't keep working for money. I can't stress that enough. And a lot of people within our generation, our age group, we recognize, right, that veil is getting thinner and thinner. You know what I mean? And we want an exit strategy. We want to be able to enjoy our money. We want the passive income. We want the residuals.
So what's holding us back?
Not knowing. It's just a lack of knowledge. It's a very famous book that said that's why my people gonna perish.
So going back to today's topic with the personality of money, right? So you said it's a lack of knowledge, which in my mind, that then equates to fear, because people always fear what they don't understand. So if you don't understand it, you're going to be like, I'm a little scary. I'm a little hesitant. And what did we say about money? Scared money
don't make money.
Okay.
So listen, do you remember we had a conversation prior to this? And do you remember what I said? We were talking about the personality of money. And I got 2 of my money-making cousins on here. I got Big Bank Hank. Remember I said that?
Big Bank Hank.
He about to check in. Big Bank Hank. My other, and both of them are very entrepreneurial. You know what I mean? And so I appreciate that. And it's for us to capitalize on it in accordance with it.
Hey, tell them to drop some knowledge in the comments for us. Let's see.
Listen, he got a wealth. He has a
I'm
wealth.
always ready to learn.
Both of them. They say they still watching, but I can't. I think there's a lag on mine. If he watching and he's able, he'll check in, and he has multiple businesses as well. So, and his personality of his money is not shy. His money is very aggressive. It's not scared money, but it's also very strategic in what he does. When you were talking about a vision, that's something that he always has for himself, his immediate family, our extended family, right? So those are things, and a lot of people, they don't. I think they feel so destitute, right? And they feel that lack, that they can only see what's in front of them. They say that there's certain ethnicities of people that plan for a Friday night, and there's others that plan for generations.
Yeah. So that goes back to like you would see people online have put the money in the envelopes, and they're like, this is my vacation money, this is my car money. So really, that's really your money having a vision and a destination. So you could start putting money into a certain account and be like, hey, this is my generational wealth money.
You know, one of the things I like that you said that too, because just speaking to leveraging other people's money, I think one of the mindsets that would help change or help people pivot into doing it is that when you pay that premium, you're essentially making a deposit. That's an account that's liquid. You have access to it. It covers a multitude of things. It's just like your bank. You can reach out and touch it with no, fees or implications or anything like that. But it does additional things for you, right? So as opposed to seeing it as a bill, instead of depositing it into JP Morgan's bank, right? Bank of America and these conglomerates, you're able to create your own financial ecosystem and deposit it into your bank. That in case of emergency, great enough, right? There's a large lump sum payout to your beneficiaries when you're giving it to them. And a lot of people don't even have a beneficiary on their bank accounts. And then when they get it, if the person is savvy enough and signs the correct paperwork to get it and show proof that I should be receiving this money, Uncle Sam gonna send you a letter the following year. Hey, sorry about your loss, but that bread you got, I need some of that. You got to pay taxes on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You got to make sure your money is in the right account. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. Not you hit the nail right on the head with that. Only thing I could add to that is pay yourself first.
How you do that?
Pay yourself first. Now,
is that with the envelopes for the allocation?
Look, there's so many different ways to do that. Because before you get your money, somebody already paid themselves. So are you going to be the last person to get paid off of your money?
Typically, that's how it goes.
That's the real question.
That's even how it's going to go with your 401k. Right? Do you get paid the most or the lesser? As Andre 3000 would say. Right? And it's a very strategic trap and a false sense of security that people have an inclination to do, because that's what they've been told. That's when they've been taught. They haven't been empowered to be aware that there are other options in accordance with where they can place their money. It's a trap. This is not, no longer are jobs coming with pensions, right? Really good exit strategy. So you need to have your own private pension and placing your money in these type of accounts. That's going to cover a multitude of things, whether it's long-term care, sickness, illness, compound interest. It's one-stop shopping for your money.
So how do I go about getting one of those?
Very carefully and sooner rather than later. That's all I can tell you. But again, as a strategist, right, this is something that you have to qualify for. So just like there is a 401k, that is a tax code. A 457 is a tax code. A 403b, it's a tax code. A 527. All of these codes tell the IRS, touch your money or not, how much to touch. Has it been taxed? Do we need to tax it? That's all those codes mean. And so I'm an advocate of tax code 7702. That is a savings account on steroids that has many tax advantages and liquidity. But the reason why when they see that code, they're not going to touch your money is because there's a life insurance policy attached to it. Very simple.
So what you just said, going back, my mind went back to the whole putting money in the envelopes, right? Everybody else has a vision for your money.
Absolutely.
That's all those tax codes mean. They're just envelopes with the code on it that says your money is going to do this. And in most of those situations, except for one situation that you mentioned, your money is really going to go to work for somebody else.
You're the last one to get paid. You work the hardest for it, and you last on the list.
So going back to using other people's money, somebody else is using your money. You are the other people for them.
You the other people in that one. Yeah. You the OPM. They're using other people's money. And this is the ideology. Things don't come from nothing. This is exactly why they say the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Them folks ain't gonna tell. Well, I'm gonna calm down. I get on a whole nother level, but
hey, put the little sauce on it. Put the little sauce on it.
People who you better know the rules in terms of engagement to win the game, right? And it's a sleight of hand, and people are not going to empower you beyond them.
True.
In doing so, that would cause a collapse of their infrastructure. That wouldn't be logical, right? So it's up to us to seek out, readily identify, and make a vast change sooner rather than later to pivot and get on the right track.
Yes, because if you know the rules of engagement, if you know the rules of the game, you can be bold with your money. You could get on TV and say, I didn't pay taxes, and that makes me smart.
I'm smarter than you. Did you pay taxes? No.
Because I know the game. It's like playing chess against a 2-year-old at that point. Like, they don't know the game.
Playing chess while others are playing checkers.
Not even that. So I went to a conference one time, had to pay some money to get into a certain room to sit down to have a conversation with certain individuals.
Very wise. Very, very
And
wise.
they told me most people are playing checkers thinking that the game is chess, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he told me that really you're about to get run over because you're in the middle of the field playing checkers when the game is really football.
Oh.
And it took me a while to really process that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because in checkers, okay, everybody moves the same. In chess, different pieces have different moves,
Privileges, right?
but in
Privileges.
football, it's like, look, you are getting tackled.
Yeah. Oh.
You are
Yeah.
about to get run over.
Yeah.
That takes my mind to another saying that a certain individual who I had to pay some money to sit down with told me, you could be on the right track, and if you're not moving, you'll still get run over.
That's real. That is absolute. At that point, you in the way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? At that point, you're in the way, and you're going to get railroaded. And a lot of people have.
Yeah, so it's like there's a lot of benefit. Again, I know when we talk about taxes and tax laws, it's like, oh, this stuff may be over my head. It's so complicated. It's really not. You got a dictionary. There's the internet. There's people like us having this conversation.
Absolutely.
We can simply translate this stuff for you
Mm-hmm.
because you want to know the rules of the game so you don't get run over. There's a lot of good benefits in the tax laws. There's a lot of loopholes, which aren't really loopholes. It's how the game is played.
It's just the rules. It's the rules of engagement. There's a zip code. There, whether it's bankruptcy, 7-Eleven, or 13, there's always a get out of jail free card in this corporation that we live in called the United States of America. It's set up for that.
So if you learn this stuff, then you don't have to be fearful because, again, scared money don't make any money. So then you could be bold with your money and your money could just go out and multiply.
Yeah.
It's hard to be fearful if you got a whole army of dollars backing you.
Yeah. Yeah. Your risk tolerance changes at that point because now you're not in survival mode. I still say the loudest in the room is the weakest in the room. So we don't want to be boastful about it, but definitely position it accordingly, right? Because that risk tolerance is higher. You've got it in different accounts and places where it's going to work for you. It's doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, never depleting the principal.
Never depleting the principal. Again, just the amount of money I spent just to get some knowledge, man. This guy told me, Tino, $1,000 to me is like a penny to you.
As he told you?
Yeah, he told me. He told me I had to learn something that day. He's like, the way you would spend a penny, like it ain't nothing, it's a penny. He's like, that's the way I look at $1,000. Now this guy is worth over 100 mil.
So that'll do it.
Exactly, but
that'll do it.
He didn't start there. It took him 40 years to get there.
Mm-hmm. Was that through discipline? Was that through failure? Did he attribute what that was to?
Oh yeah, a lot of discipline, a lot of failure. But the thing is, people are so, again, afraid and scared when you have a saying that says the master has failed more times than the student has even tried.
Yeah.
And you only got to be right with this thing one time.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the things that we're talking about are safe and have guarantees. So it's not even a gamble. It's just put in X, get Y. Simple as that.
Precisely. I also heard something about failing your way to success. Like when you're a baby and you begin to walk, because that baby fell backwards, bumped their head, fell, whatever the case may be, it never deterred them from continuing to get up to attempt to walk. So when we talk about the psychology of money, right, a lot of times it goes back to the household we grew up in, right? A lot of times our parents' fears, whether it's with money, it could be with scary movies, it could be with a brand of a vehicle, right? We adopt other things that came elsewhere. And so I'm an advocate of, do you ever stop and think why you think how you think?
Yeah.
When you strip that away, right, you can eradicate a lot of fears that may not even be your own.
Yeah. You've adopted other people's fears and insecurities and personalities. Everybody has a different experience. But what I'm saying is don't let your previous experiences or your parents' experiences or your grandparents' experiences, don't let your past experiences stop you from having new experiences. Because again, your parents and your grandparents didn't know everything that there is to know now about finances and money and leaving a legacy and all of that. So there's information out there. It's up for you to seek it and then apply the knowledge.
Practical application. So it's not the knowledge, it's the application of knowledge that's empowering. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, oh man. Because then you could get out here and start being bold and talking spicy. You know, people get real confident when they got a lot of money.
I got a lot of family members, hey fam, on the chat, and they're all entrepreneurial minded. I feel like I'm lacking. I got to get on my job.
Hey,
very proud.
Again, you know, a rising tide raises all ships, so let's all get uplifted together. Ask the family members to drop some gems in the comments. You can't be an entrepreneur and not have some knowledge for the people.
They in here too, deep, from the littlest one to the biggest one. I say that respectively because they all grown. Oh man, very dope, very proud of them. And their and that, you know what? I'm just trying to assess where that came from. The entrepreneurial mindset that is very prevalent amongst us. I don't even know what to attribute it to.
Hey, somebody had to plant that seed years ago. That's the legacy part. You can't have all this fruit without somebody planting the seed. If you got all these entrepreneurs, somebody did something back in the day.
Absolutely. Me included. I don't know. Yeah, something. But you know what? That's just like they say. They talk about PTSD. So surely, if you have adopted, call it trauma or things like that, surely the good come too, right? So with that zest and zeal to maybe break away or have their own and independence, those are one of the things that were encoded in our DNA. So that's dope.
Yeah, you got my mind thinking about something. So even when it comes down to the trauma of money, there's always two sides to everything. Even if you have, let's just say, a piece of paper here, there's two sides to a piece of paper. There's never a one-sided anything.
No matter how flat a pancake is.
No matter how flat the pancake is, there are two sides to it. So even if you have trauma and trauma dealing with finances, flip that thing over. You don't have to just keep staying on that side. Yeah, your parents, your grandparents, everybody in your family could be broke. You could flip that thing over. There's some good on the other side. There's always a positive and a negative. So which side are you living on? Which side are you focusing on?
Nature shows us that. Mechanics shows us that. Positive, negative, male, female. There's always a pole that you get to take advantage of. And you're going to get totally different result depending on which one you decide to tap into.
Look, success leaves clues. And if you come from a situation where there's a lot of trauma dealing with finances, listen and follow people who have either broke out of that or who've never had to deal with that to begin with, and just follow what they do.
Make a decision that you're going to be that for your family, for your generation.
Yeah, be the one to plant the seed. Be the one to plant the seed, you know? That's all I got. I feel like, you know, in church you get what, 3 closes? I'm about to finish.
Is that how that works? I know. Okay. We on our second or third. Where we at with? Have we started our process? That's funny.
You gotta collect the offering.
That's funny. Bank Hank then left the building. He must have felt it coming. No. Good stuff.
Oh man. Hey, we're not collecting any money. Only thing we ask is that you like, share this with somebody else, follow, all that good stuff. As simple as that. We just, again, a rising tide raises all ships. We want to take back the community. We want to empower people. We want people to leave a legacy with intention and on purpose, instead of just living their lives by accident and coincidence. Your money is not a coincidence. Your business plan can't be hope. Let's put a plan of action together and help everybody else do the same.
Good stuff.
That's my third close. I'm out.
Good stuff. Drop your mic. We out.
All right. Y'all have a great day, everybody.